What up, Wichita? Welcome to the next edition of the Wichita Dinner Table. I'm your host, Eddie, and back for another round, we have DJ Carbon.
What is good, ICT? How you doing?
We got Annette Lawless back.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
We got Troy Trussell with Live Local.
What's up, Wichita?
And everyone's favorite co-host, the Kansas Gastronomist.
What's going on?
This week's weekly swag, we got Tap and Paddles, located at 4956 East 35th Street North. They are a public pickleball facility. They also have a restaurant coming up called Raha Mediterranean that's going to open up in late May sometime. Jason Ricard, the guy from Fiorito, is creating the menu there. It's going to be excellent. I actually stopped by over the weekend. TKG, Carbon, you were there.
Yeah.
I got some. I finally got to break out the pickleball racket and play a little bit.
How was it?
It felt good to get the swing out. Oh, I love it. I love racket sports. So
I did not hit the pickleball court. I had to leave early, which is kind of my MO. But the food was fantastic, and I mean the courts are beautiful. The food that we were served is not the final food, but like the baba ganoush and hummus was fantastic. Did you got some falafel, didn't you, Eddie?
I grabbed it.
I did as well.
Did you?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
That's actually some of the best falafel I've had.
Really?
I'm not. So my wife,
Really?
she joined as well. She does not like falafel in general. She's like, but I'm going to try everything. And she's like, oh, it was really good.
Yeah.
She's like,
Nice.
this I would get again. Normally I don't get falafel, but it's here. I'm going to try it. And she's like, oh yeah, I like this. It was very good.
So Jason Ricard, the chef there from Fiorito, he was sitting at my table and we were eating together, and he told me that he went to Israel and somewhere else, I forget, but
Jordan.
went to Israel for like for like 3 weeks or a month, but some extended period of time because he had somebody in his life that was living over there. And he said every single day he would get like falafel after falafel after falafel, and he just like fell in love with it. But the point is that he says that the falafel that he makes is more in tune with what he was eating over there. So yeah,
He
cool.
with how he prepped it, he called it very interesting. He's like, it is a Mediterranean version of a hush puppy. And I was like, accurate, and especially how he made it. I was like, the texture with the fry on the outside. It was like, yeah,
exactly.
I never thought about that.
I've ever heard. Yeah, I had a full plate of food, and then I ate part of it because I've been slowing down my eating. I'm trying to get more in shape. Because like over this past weekend, I finally decided to hit the gym and begin my active lifestyle workout routine. I went to Untamed Athletes at 37th and Rock, and they kicked my butt. I literally dry heaved in the middle of the workout. I was
Is that the challenge
I'm like,
in your
hey,
line of work? Like,
What's that?
You go and you eat, it's your living is to go and enjoy and embrace all these wonderful places in our community. And I'm like, that's got to be a tough balance. You have to work out, right?
I don't work out.
don't
But
either.
as I'm
Until
getting
now.
older, I've noticed the metabolism is slowing down a little bit, and I got more aches and pains in general. So like I might start getting more active. I used to play basketball, tennis, pickleball, golf quite often, but life is busy. And I was like, I gotta slow it down, do some things. So the guys at Untamed Athletes, they're gonna show me the way, and hopefully next time I won't dry heave. I think it was just like a shock to my body. I stopped in the middle. We were doing like these there were these weights on this like ski lift or something like that, and I had to like push it and pull it. And then I remember I stopped. Yeah, sled, whatever it is. And I stopped. I'm like, I think I might throw up. And I had to go outside, and it was raining, and it was cold out. So I'm out in the rain, just like nothing's coming up, and a great dinner talk, And I went back in, and I'm like, all right, let's finish this out. And I finished it and went home and took a nap because my body was beat.
Had you eaten anything that day before you went and worked out?
That was at 6 a.m.
You got to put something in your stomach.
Had a banana and a little smoothie on the way there.
Oh.
But here's the worst part. Like, I'm a night owl. So I was trying to I had to be up at 5 o'clock to get there at 6. And I was like, I got to go to bed early. And for me, going to bed early is like 11 o'clock. But I couldn't get to bed till like after midnight. I'm just laying there. And I think it was around 12:30 when I fell asleep. I wake up and I look at my clock and it's 3:30 a.m. Because like I was just worried about sleeping in, and I couldn't get back to bed. So from like 3:30 to 6 o'clock, I'm just awake. I'm like, my body's gonna hate this, and I was just exhausted, and that was my weekend. So
well, you know who else was exhausted this past weekend was Carbon, who I ran into at Wichita's Littlest Heroes. They had their 5K a fundraiser run, and it was excellent. Wichita's Littlest Heroes. Carbon, you want to tell people about what they do?
So they are. I love that organization. They're awesome people. So they help families in need, particularly with children that are encountering some medical issues. They throw on a bunch of events throughout the year supporting these families, as well as direct donations. So they run a number of fundraisers and events to support these families. They've grown so much over the years. I remember when they first started, there were a handful of families. They are now just shy of 100 something families that they get to support, and they just do a lot in the community. This was a great 5K family walk. I did their holiday party. They do a holiday party that's not public facing. It's just for the families to get together. They were really great, hands-on, boots on the ground local organization here in Wichita, and I can't speak their praises enough. They're great.
Shout out to Brianna Baskerville.
Indeed. Who also had her birthday. Yeah. So we got to sing happy birthday to her.
Was it snowing? Was it snowing at some point?
Yes, I was outside DJing in the rain and wind and snow. I was in my trooper uniform there. I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I went to the farmer's market opening, and it was windy, and it was snowing, and the poor people there with their under their tent and everything, every time a big gust of wind would come in, everybody would just reach up and just hang on to the tents because they were trying to fly away. So I'm excited for a reboot of the opening of the Old Town Farmers Market. Yeah, with good weather this coming weekend. Because I mean, we got there a little late. We were there, me and my boys, like around 10:30 or so. And Criminal Rolls, she was already sold out, man. So people went to her,
of course,
beeline for her booth. And
my wife went down there.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. My wife went down first thing, picked up the creme brulee cinnamon roll, and drove all the way to Wichita's Littlest Heroes to deliver it to me. And that was just a slice of heaven.
Okay. Oh, Troy, how was Mina's?
Oh man, Mina's donut house. Yeah, I took the 4 boys. We went over there too on Sunday, and it was fantastic. They have like some regular old donuts, glazed, some twists, some long johns, and then they add toppings to everything. So there's a big variety. But they also have these bagels and a couple other things. But I asked the owner there, Huber, I believe is his name, really nice guy, was really helpful. He told me the ranchero is like the thing to get. And so I got the ranchero, and it was fantastic. I think it was the best bagel I've ever had. It was egg and chorizo mix.
That's a bold claim.
With chipotle aioli on it, with a poblano pepper. Like, dude, it was really good. It was really
that
good.
Sounds awesome.
I'm gonna have to get back, and I saw they have like crepes and croissant sandwiches and whatnot. I need to try that stuff.
They've got like a egg waffle thing too. So yeah, a lot of stuff to try.
Cool.
Also, last week before we go.
So real quick, Mina's Donut House, 343 South Greenwich, or Greenwich, as Carbon would say.
That's right. Also, before we get done with last week, huge shout. We got me and Brooklyn got to interview Beetlejuice folks before the show, before the dinner table. We went back to go watch it after the dinner table last week, and shout out to everyone that went and supported it. It was going on Wednesday through the weekend. Brooklyn, so we met the 3 guys. It was Michael, Matt, and Mark that were the 3 Beetlejuices that were playing. She made a t-shirt for me that had their names and Beetlejuice's in Wichita, and they gave her a signed program and the whole nine, and they were so sweet after the fact. And then they're like, "Hey, can we get one of those shirts?" Because it was the one weekend where they all got to be a part of it in that way. So she made them shirts. We actually just went and delivered them this morning before they got out of town. So huge thank you and shout out to the Beetlejuice guys. That was such an amazing experience and a phenomenal show.
That's awesome.
That is.
I mean, I see her reaction on the little segments, and you can see this beam of joy in her face. She just loves it.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
All right. Upcoming events. Carbon, you want to kick things off?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. This week we've got this week, speaking of theater, speaking of Brooklyn in theater, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is getting put on by CPT Theater. They're at Alvin Morris Administrative Center. So you can check out tickets there, cptict.org. So yeah, if you want to check out some Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that is going to be amazing. And then we got some fundraisers this week, man. Thursday, Wine About Cancer is going down at Brick and Mortar. So that's always a good time. Has anyone made it to Wine About Cancer?
I've never been, but I will be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, Wine About Cancer. It started Tori when she was running for Leukemia LLS Man and Woman of the Year. She created this night as a fundraiser, and it went over so well. They now bring it back every year as an opportunity for all of the people competing for, I guess now it's Visionary of the Year. They all get their own booth, so they can sell tickets under their name, so they get their funds raised, but it's kind of a group effort where everyone gets to participate. They have amazing auction items, all kinds of wine options. There's food options. It is a great, very elegant, and a great excuse to get dressed up. It is a great night out. So yeah, highly recommended. I don't know if tickets are sold out. I guess they sell out every year, so I'm guessing by now they are.
That's wonderful, though. How great!
It's a great time. And then, well, also speaking of fundraisers, Friday, I'm going to be at Blue Jean Bingo, which is a fundraiser for Goodwill. I'm going to be one of the guest callers. I'm going to be calling out your bingo numbers, and that's going on at Distillery 244. Yeah, so I'm super stoked. I will have my Nobrack. I think you guys have seen my robot lamp creations. One of those will be the prize for my round of calling. So you get to take home a one-of-a-kind DJ Carbon metal work lighting fixture. Yeah.
All right,
man. DJ, auctioneer, bingo caller. What next?
The resume grows, baby.
And every type of weather. Oh my god.
Yes.
Right.
Before we go into the rest of the weekend's events, how many characters or the kids can you name from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
All of them.
Okay, so Carmen, Annette, do you know any of them?
I think I know all of them.
Can you name one?
Okay, Veruca Salt, Mike, like Mike TV,
Troy?
Augustic Scoop.
Yes, yeah. You got Veruca Salt, yeah. Violet, I don't even know how to pronounce her last name.
Beauregard.
Beauregard.
Wow.
And then obviously Charlie Bucket, Mike TV, Augustus Gloop. Annette, well done. That's better than I would have done.
Man, it's been so long.
I had one name.
I could probably guess and tell you.
Willy Wonka?
Charlie. Well, you said the kid.
Yeah. Willie's kind of a kid himself. Has anybody like the new version of the Wonka movie versus the old one? I wasn't.
Well, you're talking about the Tim Burton one, but the new Wonka was really good. The musical,
the new one, the Timothy.
Yes,
Chalamet.
not the
That's pretty
with
good.
Chalamet. Yeah, that was really good. I really like that.
That was really good.
But no, the Johnny Depp Wonka was not my vibe.
Yeah, Gene Wilder, right?
Gene Wilder was the
original.
original.
Yeah. That version. Oh man.
That's the best. I mean,
classic.
I think there's like one of the characters in the newest one. I think she's from Kansas too. Like not the character in the movie, no, but the actress or something. I can't remember her. I think she's from like the Wichita area. So yeah, wild.
That's cool.
Yeah.
TKG, do you like Willy Wonka, or is that one of your sticks in the cross?
I like it. I guess I don't love it enough to have seen it 8,000 times to know all of the kids' first and last names, though.
Jeez.
Wah,
Okay.
wah, wah. I mean, he doesn't appreciate candy, so why would he like a movie about it?
Yeah.
Rest of this weekend's events.
That's true.
This is the rundown for Saturday. You got the Central Kansas Reptile Expo at Kansas Star Casino. There's the second Saturday sidewalk sale at Generations Antique Artisans. You have the Workroom. They're celebrating 12 years. So, yeah, the anniversary artisan market's taking place over the Workroom, and I think they have the NAFSCA Park area blocked off as well.
They got a whole soundtrack, musical entertainment all day long out at NAFSCA.
And, yeah, they're like one of the OGs, I feel like, in the artisan market area.
Yes.
Egg the Park at Central Riverside Park. It's supposedly the biggest egg hunt in town. Free egg hunt, I should say. So it's free for families. Go check that out. Also, Saturday night, you have the Dinner Detective Comedy Mystery Show. This is over at the Wichita Marriott. I need to get out and do this one time. I love mystery dinners.
Oh, yeah.
And
sounds
I
like
think
a lot of
this
fun.
would be a fun one. So might put that on the calendar. And then Sunday, Open Streets ICT returns. This one is at WCU in Shocker neighborhood over by Wichita State. If you've never done any of the Open Street events, it's awesome. You bring your bike, you walk, skateboard, whatever. Just get out and be active. Plenty of food trucks, vendors. The streets are closed off along 17th Street. I went last year to this one, and it's phenomenal. Amazing.
Yeah, that's right. That's the order. I've been to the College Hill and Nomar Open Streets, but I have not been to the one by WSU yet. So I'll plan on doing that.
Fingers crossed for weather not like this past Saturday.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right. Other things in the community. Abode Bar and Bistro recently opened at 837 North Andover Road. Really cool concept they have going on, like half semi-casual, half fine dining. Carhartt opened up at Bradley Fair as well. I posted about that. I didn't realize people who like typically wear Carhartt stuff aren't fans of other people wearing Carhartt clothing. Like so Carhartt, I guess, is working man's clothes or blue collar or whatever you want to call it.
Blue collar, yep.
And they don't like non-blue collar people wearing it, like yuppies. I guess I saw the word yuppies online. I had to ask for permission on Facebook because like I don't get my hands dirty much, but I find the clothes to be very comfortable. And I didn't know it was a thing that I should not be wearing it, but I'm gonna wear it. And then next Tuesday, or I guess this Tuesday, Small Sliders will be opening at 1370 North Greenwich Road. That is April 15th, 10 a.m. And then next thing, I saw Joan and Chalk from the Golden Bachelorette were at Roxy's over this past weekend. I was looking on Annika Wooton's Instagram page. Up next, we have Annika Wooton. She is a speed painter. That's one of her many talents. You need to follow her on Instagram and Facebook and all the socials. But Annette's one of your biggest fans.
Love it.
She's she's like the driving reason that you're on the show today.
Oh my God.
So for those that don't know Annika, do you want to give a little brief intro?
Sure. I was born in Kansas, went to KU, studied art, like the spark notes to where I am now. Had a brief stint in pageants, and that's where like the speed painting came into play. Somewhere in pageants in college, I discovered that I could paint really fast in front of huge audiences. And that's propelled me to my career today. And I think like the thing that I'm most thankful for is that I get to live in Wichita, Kansas, with an incredible community, but I still get to literally travel the globe and do these really cool paintings for all different kinds of audiences. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. That's where I'm at.
I think Carbon and TKG, you guys saw her the other weekend doing a speed painting?
Seen her for the past 3 weeks in a row. Yeah.
You guys hanging out.
We
saw
did
her
an awesome job at Ballet Wichita at their gala.
Yep.
That was amazing. Also got to see her at March Madness, NCAA. I got to auction off.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly where I was going to go. Shout out to Annika, because at the Ballet Wichita gala, she did a speed painting and then donated the painting rather than selling it, donated it to Ballet Wichita to auction off. And so they did a live auction, and Carbon was able to get 400 and change.
We went up. No, we got up there. No, that's where Brent left. I was not ready to. I've never done an auction, but Brent was fumbling, so I'm like, "Hey, I got." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, and he's like, "You do
give me
it."
the microphone.
Like, I could do this. Yeah, we got it. We got this. It worked out.
So Annika, so you've done some big events. I saw you doing like WNBA games.
Yeah.
And so how'd you get involved doing that?
A lot of emails, cold emailing, and hitting the right person. And I tell you what, nobody has the same job title. Everybody's got different org structures with every team. But once you're in, you're in. And so last year, the first WNBA game that I did was the Connecticut Sun, and I'll be back with them in August. And again, DJ Carbon, we're going to collab, because you would never think that the sports world and the theater world are combining. But the theme they gave me for that halftime is Wicked. And I'm a huge Wicked fan. And so I've asked Carbon to make me a cool halftime mix.
That's fun. That probably helps with getting, like the vibe and the excitement of it all. So I love that.
Oh, yeah.
That's wonderful. Annika,
I'm curious. How'd you get involved into painting?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too. Like, where did you get your start?
So the first time that I live painted anything was in front of my entire high school. And a couple of my mentors in the theater just said, like, hey, have you ever considered painting live in front of people? And so I did it, and I didn't practice. And I did my first live painting upside down in about 8 minutes. And so then when I moved into the competition space with pageants, the time limit was 90 seconds. And I was like, well, I think if I practice, I can get it down to 90 seconds. And there's practice, and there's simplifying, and there's strategy, and there's choreography. But that is where I think like the athleticism of the painting came into play and prepped me to be able to whip out paintings every other weekend.
So why is it that you paint upside down? I'll see the videos, and you start everything upside down. It's like, is that something that you just picked up, or is that something that they teach, or?
There's not really a school for speed painting, but in art school, they do teach you to do portraits upside down. And it's to kind of trick your brain. So instead of looking at an eyeball or a nose, you're looking at light, shape, and shadow. And so you get a more accurate portrait because you're not looking at what you think you see, you're looking what's actually there. So from the technique side, it is more helpful because I'm not trying to paint what I think Frank Sinatra looks like. I'm just painting shapes, right? And then I have to trust that the shapes that I've practiced and I've planned, when I flip them over, end up looking like Frank Sinatra. But then, of course, it definitely comes into play for the entertainment value and get that big wow moment when I throw a canvas into the air.
The reveal is everything. I stand up and clap every time. It's such a vibe.
Exciting. I'm curious, is there one that was the hardest one that you've done, or you really had to put like a lot of like prep work into thinking, okay, I gotta, like, what's the most challenging one you've done?
The most challenging one that I've done, I did NCAA, DePaul University, and I painted Taylor Swift right when she was about to re-release her Reputation, Taylor's version. And she is the most famous person in the world. So everybody knows her face, but from an artistic standpoint, she is a very boring face. I don't know if I should say that on the record. Yeah. She's very plain. Yeah, I'm compared to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's got a defining nose and a collar and glasses, Taylor is a beautiful, symmetrical blonde woman. And so figuring out how to paint her face in 5 minutes and have it all click, I actually really relied more on the entire performance to pull it all together rather than having a photographic version of Taylor Swift.
So when you do those speed paintings like that, have you practiced that same painting over and over and over to get it down? Or is that just off the top of your head?
Everything is always planned. Depending on the time limit, depends on if I've really practiced it. So a 5-6 minute painting, I've typically practiced and choreographed certain pieces of it. I know where I need to be in the music to get it done in time. But then when I have 45 minutes or an hour, like I did at Ballet Wichita, that was the first time I had done that painting. I knew what I was doing, but it didn't need a practice run.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Annika, I remember you mentioned, you said you did this during your pageant days. At what point in your like life or career did you like, I could turn this into a career where I'm traveling and doing this?
You know what? So I served as Miss Kansas for 2 years because of the pandemic. And I thought after the first year that that was going to launch me into what I am doing now. But after the second year, I was really tired. And so I just kind of was like, I'm going to sit back. If gigs come to me, that's great. I'll take them. Just kind of keep slow momentum. And it was probably a year and a half after that that I had the spark, kind of realized what I was capable of and what opportunity there was in the very niche market. I'm only one of 3 professional female speed painters that I am aware of in America. And so I was like, it's kind of a waste to not do this. And I love it. And there's a need for it. And if I just put myself into that arena, we can see what happens. So, I mean, I've been speed painting for 12 years, I would say professionally since 2019, but just in the last couple of years is when it's taken off.
Favorite 3 events you've done? You've speed painted at?
Oh, this is good.
That is good. Well, and I said I wasn't going to talk that much about Miss Kansas, but my Miss America painting was Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 90 Seconds, Upside Down. And she actually saw that painting before she passed. And it's like, that's really hard to beat.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I loved the Taylor Swift painting that I did in Chicago because it like they had themed the entire night Taylor Swift. And so when I came off the court, there was like a whole section of little girls screaming. And I was like, I feel like I had my own concert. They were freaking out. So that experience was awesome. And then actually on New Year's Day of this year, I was back with DePaul with their men's team, and Bill Murray happened to be there. So like, it was a cool painting. I did their mascot with like the 2025 glasses on for the New Year's, but Bill Murray saw my painting and thought it was cool. And that's a top 5 moment for sure.
Do you have any big events planned? I know you said you have WNBA stuff coming up, but do you have any other like big events that you're going to be at sometime this year?
Oh, I'm starting to build out the summer schedule. And so like, there's some things that aren't totally locked down that I can't say yet, but hoping to travel to like Hawaii for a painting. Really want to cross off international this year. So that's in the works. And just like looking for more unique places to insert painting. You know, sports and arts are a really cool dichotomy, but there's more places that we can kind of insert painting in that live performance to bring unexpected experiences.
So how can someone book you or like get the information to have you at their event?
On my website, I've got a pretty simple form, just filling out a little bit of information of your event, the date, and then I'll reach back out. I am the human on the other side of all of my platforms. So if it's my website or my Instagram, I'm lucky to have a unique name. So if you Google me, I'll probably show up.
Yeah. What is your website address off the top of your head?
Website is annikawooton.com.
Super simple.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Annika,
so good.
We appreciate you coming on. I know you have a big weekend ahead of you. You said it's a wedding weekend?
It's wedding weekend. Yeah, we're like 6 days away. So countdown.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Yeah.
How wonderful.
Thank you.
Yes.
And we did ask the question
It's
if
exciting.
she's going to speed paint at the reception, and she said no.
Come on.
So no working that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Well, Annika, thanks again for hopping on. And everybody else, make sure you check out Annika Wooton on the web, socials, all the stuff. Give her a follow. It's worth it.
Great follow.
Yeah,
Great follow.
so good.
Thank you guys. Great to chat with you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
And we're back with Trussell Truths, sponsored by Trussell Media.
All right. Last week I talked about the Old Town Farm and Market. And I want to talk about it again because you need to go back out there because the weather's supposed to be better. But this past weekend we came across the booth, the M&M sharpening booth, and I just happened to have my pocket knife with me. because you never know when TKG is lurking around the next corner. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Threats of violence publicly aired.
Just kidding. But no, so I got a knife sharpened and I had my 4 boys with me. And they were really cool about showing the kids how to do it and how many different leather belts they use and that kind of thing. But they can sharpen anything, any kind of thing that you use in the kitchen or in your toolbox that needs to be sharpened. They can sharpen it. They're on site, really cheap prices. It's it's just a good service that they put out. So
great people.
They were at the farmer market. Amen. Yeah. So
nice.
I follow them, the owner over on like Threads, Instagram, Facebook. He's very active online. Like he's
super active.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? If people are in a business and they're like, how do I do social media? He's a great example of how to have a voice that doesn't necessarily pertain to what you're doing, but by being in front of people, they do a great job of being an active participant in socials on behalf of their business. And when you think of it, that's a great model, the way they do it. I mean, salute to them. And they're just great people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Up next, we got Stick in TKG's Craw. What's bugging you today, TKG?
Well, EB, this one might, we'll see what people think, but what's in my craw today is influencer. It's a term that I seriously hate. It might be ironic to some, but it's true. And yes, I know some people covet it, but to me, it just sounds a little pretentious. I'm not even sure that the term matches up with reality. Influence means the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone. If I tell you about a good cheeseburger at a restaurant and you end up going to that restaurant, have I really had an effect on your character, development, or behavior? Maybe. Or maybe I just posted about a spot and you going was because you saw it and thought, I want to support that place too. I mean, isn't that the truth many times? I don't know if I'm cut out for this game of being an influencer. I think I'm just going to be a dude that writes about stuff that's interesting to me and call it good. And you can decide if it's interesting or if I suck. Back to you, Eddie.
I'm here for this. The independent self-marketer. There we go. Not influencer, just doing my thing. Yeah.
There you go. Rebranding on it.
So TKG, it's just, I'm not a big fan of the word, influencer.
It's
but also
very lofty word.
And it almost puts too much pressure on you. But you mentioned influence affects behavior. Is that what you said?
Yeah, character, behavior. Yep.
And so define behavior for me, I guess. Like, what do you mean? Like, if someone does something because you posted about it, I mean, is that kind of affecting their behavior? Like,
well, I don't know what Webster's dictionary defines behavior as, but I would think that there'd be multiple ways to define behavior. You could define behavior as one simple action, but probably behavior is more how you go about life. Like when you say somebody has bad behavior, for example, right? You're not talking about one action. You're talking about it's more character or how you function as a person. From my viewpoint.
I think in the context,
if someone goes to Panera every single day for lunch, is that their behavior in a way? And they don't stray from that?
I mean, it's a function of their behavior, right?
It's a routine.
The definition is the way in which one acts or conducts oneself, especially toward others.
Yes.
Is the definition of behavior.
That makes sense. That's more in line with, I mean,
yeah, I get you.
obviously
How you're
more well
presenting it,
said. But
Well, before we move on to the next segment, I want to give one of my favorite food influencers a shout out, the Kansas Gastronomist. He posted last week, I believe, about Levantine Kitchen. He talked about how Panera next door is jam packed, and when he went to Levantine Kitchen, it was empty inside. And one of my friends over the weekend, significantly spicy Lynn, sent us a video that he went to Levantine Kitchen, and the restaurant was like pretty packed. So I went from like empty to packed. And could TKG be responsible for that? Who knows? But you definitely influenced some people, TKG, to go.
That was this past weekend, which is also when I do my stick in my craw. And so I intentionally decided to talk about being an influencer and because it's ironic, as I said, and maybe it's just something that I don't like. I don't know. Somebody said something that I thought was really interesting. And by the way, this is not a critique of anybody and how they do things, but that the difference between like a blogger and an influencer is that when it becomes about the person rather than about like the product or whatever it is that you're talking about. Yeah. And I hadn't thought about it that way before. I probably should have by now. But I thought that maybe that's right. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of negative connotations and with what an influencer expects as far as the freebies and the entitlement. I think from someone that does present a lot of things, I see so much negative around it, so that it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But I'm just like, I appreciate highlighting good people and good business, and if that's under the umbrella of that title, I don't like it because it's got a lot of negativity in my head. But at the same time, I'm like, call it what you will. I know what I'm doing and love just showcasing what's awesome in Wichita. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like? The term local celebrity. I despise that term. I'm like, Wichita is too small of a city for local celebrities because I feel like we're like 1 to 2 degrees of separation. Like everybody kind of really knows everybody for the most part,
Yeah.
And when you have events and I see the listings for like local celebrities, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like it makes you wonder, like if you were to go to New York and they had, hey, we have local celebrities, do you get like big name stars there versus like what we get here in Wichita?
My kid called me a local celebrity the other day. I'm like, stop. Like, really?
Yeah, my friends sometimes use that term, but I think they use it to make fun of me.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Well, Levi, he's like, Dad, it's kind of weird when you show up in my friend's Snapchat. I'm like, buddy, it's more weird for me, I promise you.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Online shoutouts. We got a few to go through. One, Trisha Lee wants to mention that she is working towards rebuilding the Andover Historical Museum and currently runs the Towanda Area Historical Museum. It's all voluntary, very little funding, so they could definitely use the exposure. So the Andover Museum is working on sharing local history in conjunction with a new event called Heritage Fest, which takes place in May. It's a family-free event. We'll have more information coming soon on that one. But yeah, I think those that work in that space, preserving history, it's a lot of hard work, sometimes little to no pay. So much respect to Trisha and group. Next up, Jenny Kreutzer wants to mention that Art Together at Mark Arts takes place this Saturday at 10 a.m. It is a free event from 10 to noon. There are 3 parts to the event. The first will be a story. The second will be an art project. And the third will be a demonstration of adaptive sports equipment. So it is for people of all abilities and all ages. Go stop by and check that out. Lastly, Heather Sanders. She wants to mention that this past weekend, the weather really did a number on the Old Town Farmer Market and even like the Kansas Grown Farmers Market event. So let's do a redo. Troy, I think you mentioned it earlier as well.
Yes.
It caused a lot of damages to the canopies, product losses for vendors, and They were all excited for the return of the market events, and the weather did not do them any favors. So stop by this upcoming weekend, this Saturday. They start like at 7 or 8 a.m. I think
it's early.
Yeah, 7 a.m. I believe for Kansas Grown, and then 8 a.m. for Old Town Farm and Art Market, or backwards. By the way,
I think that's
stop by
right.
and
I
show
think
up.
it's 8.
All right. What's good in Wichita? It's time for everyone to share a little story, a little shout out, someone doing good work in community. I want to give a shout out to Wheat State Ghostbusters. Has anybody heard of this group before or seen them out and about? They're a group of guys that dress up as Ghostbusters around town. There are different events. It's a fan-run group of individuals that share their love of Ghostbusters while supporting local communities through fundraising, charity, and other work. So this past weekend, Station 8 worked with Wheat State Ghostbusters to give a portion of proceeds, and that money went to charity. And I think that they raised around about $500 just from people eating out, and that goes back into the community. Go check them out on Facebook. I'll share some pictures. They literally dress up as all the Ghostbusters characters, meet with kids, just bring liveliness and happiness to the community. Oh yeah, the money went towards the Make-A-Wish Foundation as well.
Very cool.
Nice.
They were at the
Comic Con, something like that.
Comic Cons, yeah. Yep. I got to put on the pack and everything. They have like really cool replica stuff. It's just like from the movie. I mean, it's awesome.
You think it's replica?
There's a
it might be the
similar
real
group
deal.
out. Don't cross the streams.
Yeah.
No, there's a similar group that we ran into, right, TKG, over at Wichita's Littlest Heroes. There's a Star Wars group. I'm blanking on the name of the group right now. Do you recall?
Yeah, actually, this is a great launch into my shout out, which is the it is the Great Plains Galactic Alliance.
There it is.
And they were at I had never heard of them, but they were at the Wichita's Littlest Heroes, and so they were all decked out in their Star Wars costumes that are supposed to be, authentic and all that. But the reason I wanted to shout them out is because they always go to that event, according to them, donate their time. They also go to the children's hospitals every quarter and visit with the kids. And I talked to them for a little bit, and I just was really impressed. So shout out to them, and appreciate what they do.
They were also at Comic Con back in March.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, Troy.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Music Theater Wichita. They were actually just in the studio here this morning, recording a few podcasts about their upcoming shows, and they've got quite the lineup this year. So if you haven't, I think season tickets are already on sale, but the first show is June 18th, and they're having the first show is called Waitress. But we went to Frozen last year, and it was a fantastic performance. They're always looking for the best and just brightest people for the stage all around the nation. So, and they got some really good acts coming out, and those podcasts will be coming out soon as well. So looking forward to that and to everything that they bring to the community as far as music theater, because it's very good. It's very good. It's very good. Yes.
We'll have to get them on the show sometime, Troy.
Yeah. I think we are going to have them on the show on May 7th.
All right.
Be looking out for that.
Carbon, you're up.
Talk about natural segues. Well, I also, in regards to theater, man, I made a post right after this weekend, and this week, man. So my daughter, God bless her, has always been the sweetest, most caring individual I've ever known. Even as a young kid, 6 years old, she was the nurturer, always looking out for everyone around her. In any social setting, she's like, we went ice skating, making sure that people that can't skate were having a good time. Just that, like almost mother hen, just taking care of everybody. Always a good soul. I remember as she was getting towards high school age, not only that, I was just worried about kids being jerks and, maybe taking advantage of her, some naiveness and this and that. I was worried about her a little bit, and she found theater and has just thrived in the theater community and found her people, found her tribe. And it has been the most heartwarming thing to see. And then this past week, we got to get up and do an interview in advance with Matt, Mark, and Michael, who are the three folks that played Beetlejuice. So the main guy that normally does it, he was on a vacation to go see his brother's wedding. So these three were taking the role of Beetlejuice on different nights this week. And during our interview, you guys saw a clip of it last week, but not the whole thing. So they're like, you should come see the different shows because it's going to be a different show each week or each night because of the different people performing as Beetlejuice. And she's like, I would love to, but I've got Tech Week for this upcoming Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The moment she said that she had Tech Week, everything Beetlejuice stopped. They're like, wait, what? Okay, what do you have Tech Week for? She's like, well, I'm doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. She's like, oh, what role are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm just ensemble. I'm like, girl, you are not just on. There's no such thing as just ensemble. What do you got? She's like, well, you just called it Oompa Loompa ensemble. Like, all eyes on her. And she felt so seen and recognized and just like celebrated. Like they just stopped everything else and just turned to her. So, my heart's full. Anyways, just those guys, absolutely thank you, love. Much appreciation for making my daughter feel special.
God, may make my eyes water a little bit too.
Oh, like that is beautiful.
Tears at the dinner table, baby.
That girl dad life.
Oh. Girl dad life, right. Yes.
That's
so man.
Good.
All right.
I'll top that.
Annette, top that.
I can't top it. Let's just go home, guys. I love that's so.
She froze. She can't.
Did I freeze for real? Did I freeze?
You did freeze.
Just for a quick second. I was like,
all right, you're back. You're back.
Oh,
hit us
Lord.
with it.
I want to give a shout out today to three ladies who are embarking on a new adventure. I put a post up this past week of these ladies who they're daycare staff over at Wichita State University's Child Development Center. They're awesome educators in the little person space and everything, but they're trying something new. And I just, props to people who want to just start something, a fresh start, whether you've lost a job or if you just want to do something cool and exciting and they just want to do that something cool and it's exciting. They started this new company and it's Fresh Rides. Fresh Rides. I want to say it right. I'm going to do it right. Fresh Rides Car Seat Cleaning Co. And so because they're so experienced with little people like children and car seats and car seat safety that TKG, you're so funny. Got laughter in the background. But anyway, they're very experienced with car seat safety and they want to make sure that people are getting things cleaned properly. And so they're using the proper, I didn't know you need to use like certain proper chemicals and all these different things, but they're trying this new thing out where they're going to go and clean people's car seats for them because you know how filthy and disgusting they can get as parents. So I just love that they're doing that and they just have such a great energy about it. That's so awesome. Jessica, Tiffany, and Autumn, just kudos to you for going and trying this out. I hope that they do wonderful. I mean, I wouldn't think it's a space to enter, but why not? Because I don't want to clean anything up after my kids. So there you go. I can't top DJ Popper. Come on.
Quick note, Annette, and those watching at home. So while you're speaking, Annette, there's some laughter from our end. And the reason for that, for those that are at home watching, so we record this online, and there's like moments of buffering when Annette was talking, and her screen freezes. And sometimes when your screen freezes, you get caught in like these like awkward, facial moments. And just causes a little bit of laughter. So we're not laughing at Annette's shout out by any means. We were laughing at the frozen screens that we get every now and then.
I get a lot of them. That's the thing. People.
It's always like the most like inopportune times when the screen freezes too. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry.
All right.
They're funny.
Annette, Carbon, Troy, TKG, always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Always. I might see you guys this weekend later. Maybe we might have a little friendly competition. We'll see. And to those
hey,
at
if
home,
you're thinking about that theater on Saturday, you let me know. I'm in for that.
All right. And to those watching home, we appreciate you. You've all been excused from the dinner table.